we're bringing the 4th episode now to you, where we've already talked about vocabulary, dealing with misconceptions. I also actually took you through Jigsaw. I'm sorry I wasn't able to take you through reciprocal reading, but here is a good plan that Shikshangan has for you. We are going to go live on YouTube with reciprocal reading after this 4th episode is over, or sometime in between, and you will know about it. We'll make an announcement about that. And today we are going to be talking about summarizing and note-taking, and that is our last episode for effective teaching strategies. Finally, 4th episode, and let us summarize. You are at an advantage when you take notes by hand. You know that? This pandemic has got us all onto a device. We have started getting cramps in our fingers. We have kept changing the mouse. ज़्यादा अच्छा mouse लेते हैं, हाथ बड़े दुख रहे हैं. With all the kind of work we do on our devices. But when you take notes by hand, it increases your ability to focus, increases your comprehension. You're able to understand and process more information because the connection of the writing hand to the brain is far better than the connection of the typing hand to the brain. It improves your memory because you are seeing what you're writing in your own handwriting. It inspires creativity because as you're taking notes, you're also drawing diagrams. Engages your mind because you need to pay attention when you're taking notes. It extends your attention span, of course. It's all research-based that I'm sharing with you, and a couple of things we've added from our own experience at Shikshangan. It organizes your information, as you will see in the Cornell note-taking that I'm about to introduce to you, as well as teaches you to prioritize. Lastly, all of us who have been good at creating notes, we have a lovely document that we can bank on whenever we have to appear for exams or anything else. So what is this idea of summarizing and note-taking? Both these are the skills which need some kind of cognitive practice. Both require to distill information into brief and meaningful form. What is summarizing? Delete some information, substitute some information, retain some information. We know that, but do we teach children? That's the question I'm asking you. Then we analyze the information at a deeper level if we want to summarize it or paraphrase it in our own words. Similarly, note-taking is effective when we have diagrams and graphic organizers that accompany notes. Notes should be taken as work in progress. I wonder if you're taking notes as you're listening to my video. You actually should. It helps you remember whatever we are trying to share with you. But verbatim note taking, मतलब शब्द लिखना, उसमें कोई खास तथ्य नहीं है. It is not very effective. Let me introduce a very beautiful way of taking notes, which is known as the Cornell note-taking method. What does that mean? You divide your page into certain margins. I'll show you how. So you set up your page, you draw the margins, take notes, listen, because to take notes you have to actively listen, reflect on what's going on, review, reflect, revise are the 3 R's there, as well as here is a format of Cornell notes. You have a margin on the left which takes main idea, etc. I will explain that on the next slide. And the larger portion of the page has got keywords, diagrams, graphic organizers, etc. But the beauty of this is at the bottom, you summarize. That's why note-taking and summarizing. You could even look it up at Google, but I will share some examples with you. Okay, here's a blank page. I am teaching you. Let's suppose you want to start taking notes that I am talking about. And what am I talking about? Pedagogy. Okay, what are the best practices of teaching? So suppose you were to say, on this side you say there are cues, key points, prompts, dates, etc. We'll show you with an example on the next slide. Here, use shorthand, use sentences, use diagrams, use graphic organizers, use quotes, etc., etc. And then summarize the main ideas, how they are connected to each other, and so on. Let's practice with what I have been doing in the 4 episodes. Today is the last episode, and we were talking about effective pedagogy for the last 4 episodes. Okay? So, on the left, I might say, oh, just content mastery is not a good teacher. You need to have a lot of pedagogical knowledge. And I said vocabulary building needs attention right at the beginning. I mentioned some researchers, maybe Dweck, Marzano, maybe Anne Brown, maybe Elliot Aronson. I have mentioned some researchers, take down the names there. Here, I might take actual notes in bullet points. What is theoretical knowledge of pedagogy is not good enough. Teachers need a mastery of pedagogical knowledge. All these are notes on whatever I have been doing over the 4 episodes. Okay? A teacher's main subject is pedagogy. What are some of the effective strategies for every teacher? Summarizing, activating prior knowledge, graphic organizers, collaborative teaching, and so on. So see, I have put in a graphic organizer on this side. And then later, lastly, at the end of my lectures, when I go home maybe, as homework, you might want to give it to your children maybe, or at the end of the class, I put down my summary. An important lesson in teacher education is that in order to become an effective teacher, one must constantly practice research-based pedagogy. That is the belief Shikshangan is bringing to you. Still, one more example. One is never enough. Okay. So this is what, suppose we're doing something in primary or middle school about insects. See? Cues, ants, beetles, mosquitoes, etc., etc. I've written about prompts, I've written about remedies. I've got some notes down, common insects, harmful insects, useful insects. Again, I have got a graphic organizer. Here, I've got a hierarchy chart, a classification chart, ants, flies, butterflies, and so on, and I will summarize. All insects have interesting facts, blah, blah, blah. So this is the summary that I do. This is Cornell note-taking. Once again, I want to encourage you because students are doing it and doing it beautifully. Once you teach them how to take notes on the Cornell note-taking method, I've got some example of literature, of Jane Austen, something else of, what is the other subject? Cause and effect. So I have hundreds of such examples the students really do and they excel in. So note-taking is an important strategy you can teach your students by, because you are making them learners for life, teaching them summarizing, metacognition, and various beautiful skills. That is what we had to say about pedagogy, but that's not enough. There are so many more that we can talk to you about. If you want to know more, do like and subscribe to our channel and write to us, ask questions. The more questions you ask, the deeper the learning is going to be. Till then, I'm signing off. Devika Nadig for Shikshangan Education Initiatives, always in your service.